Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody all around the world, and thank you for joining us today for another Left 4 Dead 2 competitive shoutcast. My name is MK. I'll be your caster and cameraman for today, and I am running with 8-time tournament director Rails Barlow. How you doing, my friend?
I'm sorry, did you say 8-time tournament director?
That is correct.
Okay, that's 8-time really big tournament director, because there are other tournaments in there that are definitely more than 8, but either way, I am so happy to be here because this is now the second week in a row we've achieved this. We have skill to kill. I love the fact, MK, that we do have a community that's kind of in it, where you can see people coming back and actually benefiting from what's happening. But we were having a fascinating conversation right before we got this cast going about just how people evolve in this game and how the game has evolved itself, right? So those are two different things when players get better and then the game changes. I think for me, as somebody who's been around for as long as I have, right, and seen this community be what it is, this map that we're on right now, and there's a reason, there's a method to the madness here, right? So it was Dark Carnival last week, but Parish is one of the 3 maps that it is just fundamental to know in the competitive Left 4 Dead 2 community.
Hell.
It's just you have to know it.
Over here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I like to agree with what you said there by kind of saying like a lot of the attacks in some of these campaigns are kind of in certain areas, so it's really easy to kind of teach some of the new players coming in here to kind of go off of that or go fast or go slow during certain choke points. Gives them a lot of chance to learn from that.
It's deceptively simple, though. You know what I mean? Because this map that we're on here, speaking of how things have changed, right? It's worth 400 points. It's actually worth 300 points, isn't it now?
Yes, it has been lowered for a better balance. I agree with it. Yes, it is correct.
Yeah, so it's 300 points now, because if you hold up tab, it still shows 400. And for those that aren't used to competitive Left 4 Dead 2, that's a big change, because back in the day, it actually still used to be worth that full 400, but here's the thing. This tank is very hit or miss, especially the one that you fight near the safe room. It's at 40%, they're going to spawn it and go back. That's just how this is going to be. And we're going live right now, MK, but I love the fact that we can actually see this being the way it is with these teams that we've got here, too. So for the Survivor side, it's going to be File Team 6, Jacob, Nine Null, and Dandy. They're going to be mentored by Jaryd, and that first hit's going in from the Infected team onto them. That's a nice smoker pull forward with that boom as well. MK, who do we have for the Special Infected side being mentored by Knee of Justice?
We're going to have the Greed will link the mind of... Can't read the last part of that, unfortunately, for my spec HUD. And Duvol. And Greed's going to have the first tank of the game. It is going to make a clean transition onto the rooftop. No chip whatsoever. But it does look like the comments from this boom are finally going to wear off now. It's interesting to see what they're going to say here, Rails. What do you think? You think we should send this to a war room right away?
I
honestly
think that we should keep it here. And the reason for that, honestly, is... Greed is one of those players who's actually been around for a decent bit of time. So the theory is, it's like he's playing Knees and Spectate, and by their powers combined, this balances out. And you see why that is, because he does get that initial punch and the follow-up immediately onto Ellis, getting the third, almost getting the in-cap. But the thing is, Ellis was 5 punches. Now he is down. The rest of the hit's going to be going in because he has this corner too, but he misses that punch onto Coach. Now he gets it. The Hunter is in. Jockey following up, getting him to the Charger, missing. So they're not going to get the double cap. It was a 3-on-2 situation on the other side there, MK. Greed did a great job with that tank, but the survivors killed. When they were actually, with the odds stacked against them, looking at a wipe there, they managed to shut down those 3 SI.
Yeah, it looked quite a little grim there, though, Rails. There was a lot of infected in a small area. They're able to clean it up, as you say, but right now, Null is still kind of in cap there. Greed's still first pass. Spawns are coming up. They're going to make another chance to see what they could do here. Smoker gets a pull first. Boomer Rockets beautifully gets a double boom. The Rock misses. There's one survivor not boomed on, but they clean it up quite nicely. And Greed about to go AI very shortly here, Rails. I don't see him getting much more out of this. I think he just goes
they're
AI
gonna. They just need to skeet this rock, and this is the thing. When you have the shoddy player, he just has to skeet the rock. But actually, Rochelle kills the tank. That works even better. Decent take right there, but that's what I was kind of alluding to. MK as the tank committed. And that's also one of the reasons why I didn't go to the war room, because Greed does have a decent amount of experience as an international player, obviously. And it's one of those things where him and Knee together are essentially functioning as the mentors / players for that team as well, because he is still obviously newer, but he's doing it the right way, where him and his team, his consistent team, are actually playing together. And that's something that I love to see and that I want to kind of see return, is because it's like, okay, back in the day, you would play in something like this, and there would still be lower level pugs, and like obviously pugs that like are similar to the ones that are happening in the RBTN nowadays.
Reloading.
But you'd be playing with your team and then getting better as a 4 squad that way. This is obviously also great, but I want to see both things happening at the same time, and that's why you see people like Nee and Greed getting so much better, because they're actually doing it the way you should to learn the most from the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I even play a lot of pubs with them recently, and definitely they're starting to show their ascendant to a much better gameplay, in my opinion. I couldn't find the words there. As the smoker spawns up, they hold the S key and back up. So now they kind of know where the smoker is. They know where the jockey is. And they're making a quick pull over the fence here. Jockey's not in position. They take the fence. Not everybody, though. They send Null first. He's going to be the shotgun. Oh, Null shuts it down by himself. The charger comes in. They get a 2-cap in the spit here, Rails. And that's going to be a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the SI played that. The SI played that super well, because if you notice there, MK, that's one of the biggest things in competitive Left 4 Dead, especially nowadays. It's so much faster than it used to be in between or above spawns. That was an example of, okay, we sent the person first, good job, you got the clear, but then that shoddy also has to be looking up, because the bonus was in the center, and the SI knew that, and they actually did something about it to get a good amount of damage there. Now we have an in-cap going out, alarm card being triggered, triple boom, and this pounce on to Gnaw. Everybody here is still bonus, and that stumble almost has the charger going in too. That smoker's actually going to kill Ellis because of how separated he is, I'm pretty sure, unless they get a miracle revive right here. But they are struggling. MK, I'm not really sure what happened there. It just seems like Ellis got left behind a bit. And this is going to wipe almost.
Yeah, I think it is going to lead to a wipe. I think maybe they should have just left the one person out. Now it's going to cost him everything due to this scenario. He's trying to make it back in. Spit's going to block. He doesn't make it. He's going to be able to get in, probably pick up Null through the wall. Null should be able to... Oh.
No, this
well, let it happen
hell-bent.
no more. Yeah, he's dead.
They're hell-bent on killing him. That's so unfortunate, because they actually had a few hundred bonus. And that's one of those things where, okay, the game is much faster nowadays, but you don't want it to be so fast that it feels like you're splitting your team. And what happened is you had somebody who was behind, 3 people get boomed, and if that person isn't, for whatever reason, able to communicate to the team, or the team's not able to get to him because of common whatever, you know, that's what you see happen there. It can be absolutely catastrophic.
Thank you, Virgil.
Indeed, it could go from a couple hundred just to nothing like that, just like you said. It's a good example. Try to wait for the last guy, and sometimes you look at the health bar and a car alarm's going off, the spawns are up, one person's about to die. Maybe just cut your losses, but don't want to leave your team out there. Always try to get in with the max amount of points, but it just didn't work out for them.
This is legit why I'm such an advocate, like a hardcore advocate of the positional play. Because I've been on teams where you don't have it, and I've been on teams where you do have it, and I really liked the teams where I had it. It was something where I remember playing with CJ back in the day. We kind of did it, but then it was real strict on IVP with Adam and Impulse and Presto and them. Like, it was like, okay, this is where you stand, this is where you stand, and this is how it goes. Every single hit. The more synchronized you can get with your team like that, the more you understand whatever role you're playing. And then by doing that, when you play against other teams, you actually understand the game in a fucking full way. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, I love Cedar Pug. I love Left 4 Dead 2 Center, right? But there needs to be that kind of push, in my opinion, back to that organized team play, because the South American community has done a brilliant job of that. And we gotta pick up the pace. We gotta be like, yo, where's your team? Get 4. There's a scrim network now. Boom. And that's it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Rails, over the past few years that we've casted off and on, we've seen a lot of...
Jerk still has admin in the scrim network? I don't know, I'll ask him. Either him or Kiss Me, I think. Yeah.
One more ready up to get this match along the way. Or actually, this skill to kill match along the way. Tank's going to be at 40%. The tank got 2 win caps, so I would pretty sure they need to do at least mimic that. But they probably want to do a little bit better, for sure. And I'm curious to see how the coaches are going to navigate this from the other side.
What do you think went wrong on that tank, though? Because the thing is, I think, not to cut off what the Infector are about to do here, but the tank did a really good job using the experience that he has to get that corner. Plus, he has a little bit of a longer arm because he has like 190 ping. So like he got that initial corner and that was really good. And then the other survivor also got trapped, and then that's what I said. That kind of should have been a wipe. So the silver lining right now for the SI is that okay, they made it with a little bit of bonus. They're getting a decent hit here with that smoke getting cleared, though. I mean, it's just kind of like okay, the hunter needed to be in like that, and now it is. That's going to be a pounce spit with a 10 damage pounce 2 on top of that. The spit doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, but the point I was making, MK, is they got Greed's tank out of the way, and now this tank in the hands of 9 all has the chance to actually do work here.
Uh-oh, he's having a little difficulty. He pays a couple hundred HP for it, but he is on the rooftop. There's no more commons except for just a Tranquil. And for those that do see the Riot Cops, they are only cosmetic. They are not really Riot Cop zombies.
So, important question for you, MK. How do you avoid that chip there? What route do you take to avoid that?
It depends where the survivors are. Oh, wait, he's going to commit right away. So Null is in. He has all 4 survivors back up. Jockey goes early, gets a corner. It gets it clear. It switches to another survivor. He is down about 2,300 HP. Here comes the support. It's a double cap here, Rails. They should be able to clean it up. Gets an in cap. He should get another corner, too. There it is.
Yes, he's gonna get the in cap on a Nick too. I'm pretty sure before they kill him. So that's really good damage as well going out by Null. I mean, almost equal damage honestly between the tanks.
Now, as back to what you were saying about the commit for how to get the tank to that rooftop, 2 different ways you can go here, Rails. If no one's watching the back alley, you can actually dip through the back. Or, I would say, go back to the rooftop at the end of the street and do an attack while the tank strafe jumps on the rooftops to avoid chip. That would be my 2 suggestions on the best way to do it. Or, the easy way, just go to the room where the ammo is and attack and have him walk across. But you might take a little chip anyways if you do that, if one survivor focuses tank, which usually that's the case.
Yeah, there are some people who try to get that car, and I've seen some tanks do it, but the point is if you don't know how to actually do it and sit there and practice it in server, then you take a ton of chip and probably die, because you can also get stuck up there, so you don't want to have that happen either. But the point is now, though, the Infected have a chance to actually even this score. This hit can be a little bit tough to handle as well, depending on what the survivors do with it, but let's see, because the Jockey is in, the spit's down, they're going to get a stumble in that. That's going to be a good amount of damage onto Greed, actually. It was the 2-2, but the reason it still did some damage, MK, is because of the fact it's an alley and they have those spawns above and beside them.
Yeah, and I do believe that the survivors know that they're going to have to take one more hit, so I don't think they're going to be rushing it as much as the other team did, but they're pretty separated. I might be eating my words here, Rails. The spawns are coming up now, and there's big separation. Might you see the same thing happen?
Greed is way too, I think, too aggressive on that one, because now the point is they can go in. There's a double cap. The alarm is also triggered. The Hunter's landing. The Smoker's landing as well. The Jockey still has Coach. And that is, once again, an example of the survivors getting too aggressive. MK, it is the exact same thing. Not quite as detrimental yet, but it's looking like it could be that way by the time it's over.
Yeah, and I do believe they'll be rewarded with at least a spit block. They'll be able to throw the spawns in after the spitter if it blocks right now. It does, so they'll get it. Even some free spit damage. Boomer comes in. Oh, it grabs one. Now the Charger and Hunter will have opportunity just to get some damage. They're going to make safe room.
Oh.
But I think they're already in. Charge the wall.
No, they're already in.
Yeah, they're in.
But look at that, MK. It's only 106 points of difference, and the reason for that is because the same error happened. So let's recap it, right? It's like, all right, position 1 saying, go, 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 go. We're going to be totally fine, but where's position 4? If your position 1 player and your position 3 player aren't on the same page, why position 3? Because position 3 is talking to position 4 and is also looking at position 1. You see what I mean? Like, if that isn't on the same page in terms of your team, that's when that kind of stuff happens, because Greed was like, he was holding W too hard. He was halfway across the map. He may have forgotten that some of these players aren't used to doing that, and it's like, you know, that is how fast the game is played nowadays. I'm not trying to fault him for it, you know what I mean? But you need to be on the same page with your team if you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you got always make sure we're number 4
I've done the same thing.
Number 1,
yeah.
And it's not only
sometimes
important.
You're playing with people and you think you're playing with somebody who you're used to playing with, and they don't behave the same way. It's like, oh shit, you know, I put myself in a bad position because I'm used to playing with my team, blah blah blah. I've seen it happen. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's not only
you have
that.
to make sure you pay attention.
When you said that, but when you have 2 people ahead and you leave spawns in between, that's where it can get catastrophic for 2 of the survivors. It really, really quick, even though you're holding W. So it always is important to make sure where that back person is. And not only that, if you're in like groups of 2, and the team is on top of it, and you see that opportunity in between the survivors where you can spawn, it can be catastrophic for the survivors in testing them that they have to stay a little bit more closer together to negate damage.
Oh, no, I mean, that's the entire point, because if these players aren't aware of how that kind of, you know, like matrix of interconnection works, right? When it comes to, okay, you're going here, you're going here, you're going here, and you're going there. Like that's it. It's a 4 versus 4 game for a reason. You gotta understand how that kind of comes together, and I think that's one of the biggest differences between pubs and competitive. And it's cool because in terms of the mentors, right, we have Jaryd for one team and we have Nee for the other one. Nee is a relatively newer player, but Jaryd has been around in this game forever. And we were talking about the fact that, he's adapted his gameplay really well to this environment. And I think last week for Dark Carnival, we also talked about like what are the changes between then and now. But it bears reiterating that, even for me as somebody coming back who hasn't played as much, like I'm relearning parts of the game because it's kind of like, okay, this is how people move nowadays, and the speed, that acclimation to exactly how fast it is. Like I know how to do it because I've played this game for this long. But if you're newer, you got to learn it.
And that's exactly what this is for. So if you want to get to that next level, exactly what Rails says, you can sign up. Let us know if you're interested in playing. But here we go live. And oh my gosh, Rails, I have not seen this early tank in so long. This might spawn before they even drop off the stairs on the other side of the open field.
Unless something has changed with this here tank, it is one of the harder ones on the infected side of things. Anybody who's played this game ever will tell you that trying to get somebody in a corner in this huge open area means you're going to be using all of your health kind of to do that. And then the question is, do you go for a boom where there's open space, or are we trying to land a 3-cap in an open field? Typically, it's like Smoker, Jockey, Hunter for a setup like that, no matter what the circumstances in some ways. But Charger can also be kind of good here, too. Let's see this charge going in. With that spit going down the center, we are going to see the Jockey land for a hot second, and MK, the decent opening hit, but I think the survivors push out now.
Yeah, they definitely should. I believe they can take the field. Look, it's literally going to spawn before they drop off here. And like you said, if they back up and fight the tank here, none of these vehicles are hittable.
They are.
They're all not anymore. So he has to bring the dumpster.
They didn't want to push into the common MK. They actually backed up.
Yeah, they do back up, but I wonder if both teams are aware of it. Those cars towards the safe room area are not hittable. None of them are.
Well, that's the kind of thing the mentor should probably tell them, because it's like, okay, and he's actually, no, he can't be doing this. Do you see what he's doing?
It's a little late.
Yeah, so he's going for his.
Too long.
He's going for his dumpster, and there's absolutely no way.
I think this is already AI.
We told him to go for it, Jaryd.
I think the player just didn't understand. Okay, actually, they go back enough to give him some rage there, so he gets 4 seconds of rage. He might actually make this and be able. Actually, I don't think he gets it in though. Rails. He needs to get really lucky.
If he does, he's a god. He really is. And no, he's already given up on it. There used to be a car, also, right? I think that was closer there, like a hatchback car that the tank could hit. But he's going to be forced to go in here. It's File Team 6 with the tank. I mean, I respect the fact he tried for it, honestly, because it is much, much better to have it hittable here, as we're seeing. And this is kind of what I was talking about, where the survivors can just kite and kite and kite and kite. You know, and he needs his support to go in and kind of set him up here, which is what they're doing now. That's going to be the rock landing on the smoke target. We do have the Hunter landing, and now the tank is going to get an cap on a coach. That's good for their / also kind of for the park area, MK, because that park tank can honestly get like 0 hits sometimes. So that's not a bad tank at all for that circumstance.
Come on.
Yeah, I do agree. 1 in cap, kind of normal there. They do get some SI damage too, so it's not just that goes out. Not only that, they do consume 1 set of pills to keep greed quick. It also opens up the damage bonus. So let's see if the coach actually tells the infected here, Rails, to attack the damage bonus, because remember, it does go down twice as fast as health bonus. So let's see if that's a call coming up here, and it looks like they're going to retreat back to maybe the fence or the alley choke. I really don't know with this 2-2.
Well, and that's a big difference from back in the day, because you can't use the one person as a damage sponge anymore, because actually that damage bonus, like you said, can sometimes be more valuable than the health bonus in a way, just because it's exposed the way that it is. That jockey is going to land. We're going to see the boomer and the spitter die last, so it's going to be a quad attempt MK, which is interesting because typically, I actually kind of like to have a spitter for the first hit after they start the event, but going for the quad might be an idea as well, I suppose, with the Horde.
Yeah, I do agree, but only thing though, Rails, is if they choose to wait and hit at the house, it's going to be really difficult for everything to kind of get in there. So I think they should kind of go as soon as the gate opens, because the commons aren't going to spawn down the stretch anyways. They got to climb a couple fences to come over, and it looks like they're going to do that. And here it comes. Hunter's pre-spawn. Charger rockets in. Smoker comes in. Oh, they melt it down. It's a rolling tri-cap, Rails. But the Charger was focused so good by the survivors, and they just take about 10% from that. That is about it. But Good. I would say synchronization from the infected. That's not bad at all. Just good job on the survivors focusing charger.
Yeah, I mean, killing the charger is the biggest thing for the Uzis in some ways. It's like if your Uzis are good, they can melt chargers. That's what you're looking for as a team. The shotgun person usually is shooting like the hunter. Obviously, they have to shut down the auxiliary penners like the jockey and the hunter. You know, and the smoker tongue too. Those are the three things that you're really looking for there. Charger's gonna lead in, not gonna find anything. The hunter and the spitter are also still up. Let's see what's going on here because the boomer also does have a chance to go in now, and there is going to be a 9 damage pounce with a spit on top of that too. That's a good amount of damage onto those 2 survivors in the back. Could have maybe been a little bit more onto the pounce survivor, but still, they'll take what they can get there, I think, MK.
Yeah, that was. I don't know who that hunter was, but that was a nice strafe pounce. I think it was a DP as well. Not a lot though, but still, a damage pounce is a damage pounce. Better than nothing. And they turned the button off. Was it sack order, tricap spit, or was it quad? I didn't see the last death. Oh, tricap boom. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a good amount of horde here. They should be going with this, in my opinion. It's the charger, the jockey, and the smoker. I'd be telling my team to go and get this kind of hit here, especially because you get a spitter after that if you sack it right. And that's what we're going to be seeing. Nice double cap going in. That charger managing to land onto Rochelle does get a pound. Boomer dies last. They're due for a spitter and one more hit before the save from MK.
Yeah, I mean, the SIs are constantly doing damage. Tank did get 1 in cap. And they're hitting the damage bonus as well and spreading it onto all the survivors. So they are landing, doing a great job on synchronizing their SI in this kill to kill, but survivors is doing a good job cleaning it up. Last hit's going to come in here. It's going to be tricap with spit without the charger, and they got to kind of get desperate here. All the guns spraying and everything. Spit, pull, hunter, shut down, jockey melted, and they're going to walk in with 50%. That's pretty good here, Rails, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one smoker pull in the back away from being a really good round from the survivors, and it is a good round by them because now they have 1,468 points. What I was going to say, though, is that this has weirdly become, because of the tank fight, I don't even know if there's a way to do anything about it because you're torn between having a tank that's really easy for the survivors and a tank that's really tough for the survivors. It's one or the other because you have the late tank or the early tank, right? The one during the event is kind of difficult for survivors. But when it's the early tank that you fight either outside the safe room or in the park, like this has kind of become a pretty survivor-friendly chapter. Maybe not a friendly campaign for survivors, but like as an individual chapter, I think this has become better for some reason. Probably because of the entire config and the way that Left 4 Dead has gone. I think people have gotten better too in some ways. It's like it's more of a survivor-sided game. But it's like you can kind of feel that the expectation is that they're going to be able to match that. And even if they don't, they're still going to score probably like 700 points or something, and it's going to be a very winnable game for them going into the next 2 maps.
Yeah, now it's going to be Null and his Team Jaryd's turn to go with the survivor side. I believe I had that. Yeah, Greed is with Knee, you said, as the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure I had that correct here. And with
Yes, sir.
And with this tank being early now, I do believe that Knee and Greed are going to talk about this dumpster, and I do believe the tank's going to go a little quicker, so I have a chance to get it in. And I believe that might change it a little bit.
I don't know.
I don't know. You think it's worth it though?
It's a hard ask because the point is, what happened to the other hatchback? I'm not talking about the one outside the safe room. I mean, there used to be a car, and now there is no car.
Yeah, I believe it was on the top of where the first set of stairs were, on the other side of
like
the
in the park or
Binesville.
something,
Yeah, by where
or
the
it's
tree
not like
is.
over here.
By the tree?
Is it in the park now?
No, it's no longer there.
No, it's
taken
gone.
out.
It's
Yeah,
gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the car I was talking about because you could kind of bring that in. It wasn't that effective, but at least you had something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see what they're going to try with the dumpster. It's going to come into play. I believe they're going to try for it at least. The question is it very viable to get it there fast enough? They're going to definitely try and try to teach their infected to do so, in my opinion, but I don't know, Rails. It's kind of difficult to say. It's pretty far, and you got to kind of dig it out. What do you think?
Well, let's see, because this charger's going to go in and slam into the wall. We are going to see a pound spit, though. And a jock onto Ellis. That's a lot of damage onto Dandy. He's actually getting melted by that MK.
Wow,
that looked like it was more damage than it should have been, in all honesty, in that scenario.
Yeah, the spit spread, the clears were a little slow there on the last survivor. And just look at the bonus drop down onto Dandy and Jacob. 63 and 46 as we have the second tank in the hands of Wootlink. And look at that, Rails. No hesitation going right for the dumpster.
Indeed he is, and that's why I think he has a bet. Like we talked about a little bit, he has a better chance of getting it in, but it's still kind of difficult to get in at all. He does get a good first hit on it though, and here's the thing with hittable control, right, MK? I mean, you gotta crouch, you gotta aim it, you gotta feel it, you gotta judge it right in order to actually get the dumpster to do what you want it to do. I like dumpsters more than cars at this point because car weight is interesting nowadays. But yeah, it's something where he actually might be able to get this dumpster in, surprisingly. Oh yeah, he's welded in.
Did that hit an invisible wall? I think it did.
I think it did, yeah. So the survivors are gonna have to deal with this now. And it's a Charger Boomer Smoker for the support. So this tank in the hands of Wootlink really has to do work here. And he's gonna knock the dumpster in. It's on the side over there. This is actually kind of precarious now for the survivors, but in the same way that old car used to get mitigated, the same kind of thing is happening. Because now they do have the separation pull onto Ellis, and that's actually an in-cap onto Dandy. This is not looking good. For the survivor team, there's the charge, and the dumpster hits both of them! MK, it's a disaster, and it's solely because of a dumpster. That is insanity. That's actually much more dangerous now to fight on survivor side.
Yeah, the dumpster was the game changer. Not only was it the game changer, but it did a ricochet shot and grabbed 2 survivors. But I think Dandy got a little overzealous there, Rails, being only 2 punches and getting himself cornered quite quickly.
No, I mean, I think unfortunately they figured out what didn't happen on the last SI side, and that can be deflating on a map like Parish. And, you know, I don't think it's something where we have like a big imbalance in the teams. It's just when something like that happens with a hittable, that's kind of what you get. So it's like, okay, if the tank has to hit that hittable in, it's akin to like, okay, on Death Toll map 1, somebody gets a car into the safe room and the other tank doesn't. Why is there a difference? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those fundamental things. And that's why I kind of love this game, because no matter what the era is, when something like that happens, it can still completely turn the course of a game. You know what I mean? So it went from being a 100-point game now to like an 1,100-point game.
Exactly. It's just really unfortunate that they do wipe out to the tank. Hopefully the coaches will explain exactly what happened there and what just to do for the future. So a lot of information is going to be exchanged there with the coach. And sometimes, Rails, I say when I was scrimming with my team back a couple months ago, I say necessarily being wiped does suck when it happens, but also every falter is a learning experience as well.
Exordium?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Your old team?
Yeah, with Dop, Darn,
AC,
AJ. I believe it was also with Ghost, Nessia, Nee, and Macy. Those are my keeps I play with. Shout out to them, by the way. Hopefully they're doing well.
I miss DedSec, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with them. It was a really,
I miss
really
VOV
good time.
too. VOV was a lot of fun.
What was
that? Was me a Stoopy Proud you Cinnamon Lights.
And Impulse Bangs
Plus
Presto. I remember that too.
And Peak.
Yes.
Yeah, and yep. IBP too, yep.
A lot of good memories.
Great ass team. Bobby and also Nagi. That was the time I was with them. Fear Factory too.
Were you still around when Sinister was playing? They still?
No, that was a little bit before my time. That was like, but they're one of the teams that I watched. I was a huge fan of Sinister. Still am.
I was actually a huge fan of them as well, Rails. And my favorite player used to be Shade until I got to know him. Then everything changed.
I love Shade. I can't say anything bad about him.
I love him too, but for what he's done for the community is great, Rails. He did a lot of tournaments too, but here goes the attack in. They're going to send everything in Charger lands. Charge spit successful. Smoker breaks twice onto a survivor by a third time. And not a bad opening hit coming out. Still more damage going out yet.
No, I mean, you've had some colorful people in the history of this community. You really, really have. But that's any community. It's not just Shade. It's just, you know, you have personalities in this game. It's an esport. When you ask Grok about us, which I encourage everyone to do, go to Grok and start asking about competitive Left 4 Dead 2. Just be ready to laugh your asses off. It's one of those things where it's like, it is known, though, as being a thing. And when you have that kind of competitive environment, you have competitive people. Like, people could say CJ was a maniac, too, you know what I mean? It's like, or me, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, right, like, you know, but these people are the people who have placed really highly in tournaments or won them, as Shade has, and it's like, that's why I really like Sinister, because Sinister was kind of like the dark horse team in some ways. Bravo and Sideways Box's team was always amazing, with Raccoon and them too, right, Vertical Rise. And then Purple's team was also always usually pretty good. So it was like, that's the classic era that I remember watching before Watch Left 4 Dead kind of became a thing and they kind of joined forces for some of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, speaking of CJ, just to confirm, we're talking about Cool Jerk, correct?
Yes, I am.
Cool
Yeah.
Jerk, also longtime member of Area 51, winning the couple first tournaments in the era. They won 4 tournaments in the first 2 years of the game coming out here, Rails, showing their early dominance in the early game.
Yeah, they were the guys that actually went and did it, and it's like, okay, for that time period, that was the top of the game, and that's pretty awesome to see that recognition as well. And that's why, like I said, this game's never gonna die because it has this enduring kind of power, and that's why for newer people who are looking to get into it, it's every Saturday night at the same time. There might be sometimes like a one-off where it doesn't happen for some random reason, but that's not normal. So far, we managed to put the first one together on 48 hours notice, and the demand for this one was so good that we were like, maybe we need 2 games. You know what I'm talking about? So the more that we have that, though, the better it is, because it's another generation of players, and everything kind of still leads back to, you know, this is what it means to be good in this game, and this is what it means to not be good in this game. How does that change based on the meta? And then you actually have to teach people that, or they have to learn it themselves, one of the two. And frankly, Sita and Center, like, they are playing competitive Left 4 Dead 2, don't get me wrong, but not in the same kind of environment. This is interesting, though, because the tank is committed. He's had 1 spawn go in already. The boomer is going to land a double boom, and the tank has a survivor cornered, that being Coach. Wootling getting punched twice and now a 3rd time for the end cap, and the tank is now going for his car with 1500 HP and a double boom out. Very interesting because he might actually be able to delay this pickup a little bit more, but he doesn't really have the health to kill. He's hitting the car again there. It got stuck, I think, on something. Yeah, it's stuck on the grill, ironically, there, so he can't do much with that, and he's going to die. MK. Interesting timing on the commit in the first support.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job of getting the in cap. Unfortunately, the Charger sacked itself, and Survivor got his own corner. I don't know if it was because the Charger failed, but still, he got his own in cap. Then, and instead of going for the quick corner on the Boom Survivor directly behind him, he goes for the car, and unfortunately, that led to his demise. Not able to really follow up anything there. I think he should just turn around. He might have been able to get another in cap. Who knows at this point, but
yeah. I think you're right. It's one of those things where sometimes you go for the card and you're going for the big play when that also kind of would have worked. But that's going to be the Hunter landing and the Charger whiffing as the quad boom does land, and Ellis takes a bit of damage, and the Charger is getting a good amount of punches onto Nick in the corner over there. But MK, I mean, it's looking pretty good for the survivors, and like I said, it is a decently large delta, but it comes down to one thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not that imbalanced a scenario, I don't think, between the two teams. Both teams are learning. We'll see what happens on this tank, you know, on the next side, plus exactly how much damage can be done here. But it's just that one hittable that really, really made all the difference. And, of course, you know, hittables are a huge thing in this game. That's the way you turn momentum and the way that big plays can kind of happen. So the SIs need to kind of reset and keep pushing, you know, with what they're doing, hit together, try to go for a quad, like what strategy we're going to do, and just try to keep hanging with the survivor's pace and then start dictating the pace from the SI side of things as well.
yeah, and these survivors are really pushing, just like you said. Actually, if they're able to get inside here, they can actually take this choke point. Hunter is ready. Boomer go. Oh, that's a beast boom coming in here, Rails. If they can land this, try
cap. Oh, the triple cap!
Oh, Jockey gets cleared. A lot of damage goes out.
That had somehow been a spit that could blind survivors. That would have been one of the best hits we've ever seen here on skill to kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
But that's still a really good hit. They get the tri-boom. They get the rolling tri-cap for a split second there. So, like I said, that's exactly what they need to be doing. They need to be focused on each hit, because weirdly enough, this doesn't seem completely unrecoverable, as Nick does a death scream for some reason. Left 4 Dead, are you feeling okay tonight? RBTN, we good? Guys, everybody doing all right in Chicago?
Nick not happy with his life choices, maybe baiting us all.
Yeah, you heard that too, right?
Yeah, I definitely heard it.
Okay, good, because they're elf, you know, that'd be somewhere like Rails what you're talking about, but no. That's just what happens here, including the fact that you can actually shoot on the ladder. Speaking of things to scream about, Nick is on the ladder actually doing that, and MK, you know, if the SI aren't used to it, we talked about this last week, but it's worth mentioning, I think, once a cast on a program like this, it's like the fact you can shoot on the ladder as Survivor is so important to know.
Yes, it's definitely a game changer. Ladders just weren't really balanced the best for Left 4 Dead, so it's a great change. Beautiful charge. What a clear there, Rails, from the pulled guy. That's a great play by Rochelle. Beautifully done.
Did the Charger get caught on the rocks and, like, not charge all the way?
No, he got stuck for a split second, but then kept going.
Okay.
But the guy who got pulled cleared it before his gun was away from being pulled.
That's wild, because if the Charger maybe just charged there, he might be far enough away to where the shot doesn't clear him. but that's still an amazing clear by Rochelle, like you mentioned. That's just wild. Again, it's a game of milliseconds when it comes to some of this. This hit's going to be going in, though, with the spit going down the survivors, and they're a little trapped up here, MK.
Oh!
That's a lot of damage. Actually, that's going to be close to 2 in-caps. That is 2 in-caps, MK. That's exactly what the SI needed.
Yeah, I think they got
So
a little...
what changed? Why are the survivors now getting hit more, would you say?
Shake it off.
They're just, unfortunately, they're just pushing into bad areas. Like right there, they took so much damage. The horde was there. They should just waited it out. There's no way they could push up there with a tri-cap spit and commons coming down. So I think the proper play, the coach should have maybe said, just slow it down a little bit, clear them. And it's due to them not doing so. I mean, they lost almost all of their bonus here, Rails. Look what's left. It's pretty much just damage bonus, except for the Greed and Duval having a sliver of permanent HP as the Hunter goes in prematurely. Smoker and Spitter pre-spawn down below. And survivors should drop down any minute.
Indeed they do. There's the double boom, and a bit of spit damage too. Smoker pull goes out, not going to land for a whole lot of damage though, and the spit does die last, so they're going to be looking at that tri-cap then. But MK, I mean, overall, again, this really, on the survivor side of things, it's not like they're just acing every map. Like, the SI are doing a good job of keeping them under control. It's just that one difference on the survivor side so far. And the reason that I keep mentioning it, though, is because they have a chance to bring it back. If they're able to get even, like, 300 or 400 more points on this map, they have some kind of striking distance in some world for next map. You see what I mean? So it's not quite over. But it's also closer than we've kind of said the score is indicated. And that triple boom right there, I mean, the whole point is, can they kill them before they actually make the safe room fully? That's the other problem.
Yeah, they'll get at least one more chance. It's going to be tri-cap with Spit for their last shot. Rochelle is actually dangerously low of getting in-capped here, Rails. I think if Rochelle goes down while spawns are up, it could be dangerous, especially if they don't get out of this graveyard. And it looks like they will be able to get to safety. But 81 bonus left. I think if you're infected, you just want to try to get that gone, and you'll be happy at this point.
Well, yeah, Wootlink's black and white, so if they can find a way to kill him, too, that'd be perfect, that being Coach. But he does have the highest health because he took that last set of pills. Let's see what happens here, though, because it's a Hunter, Jockey, Smoker, and a Spitter. If they go in at the same time, they have the highest chance of landing, and that's exactly what they do because they pull, and then they pounce, and then they spit Wootlink with that in-cap already going out onto Rochelle and MK. That is pretty much all the bonus gone. They have a total of 24 left as they work their way to the safe room, and it's literally all on Greed.
Yeah, I think it will give them the bonus. Okay, sometimes if it's close down to 1.5, sometimes it doesn't register, but they'll get 24 points for it. 624, better than nothing. But this is going to leave opportunity for the infected team now when they go Survivor to make up some points and just take this early tank pretty well and bounce right back into this and get some momentum.
Yeah, and the point is, don't have like 3 people bleeding after this tank. If you have 3 people bleeding, it's going to suck because it's a longer map. But if you can get away with this with only 1 in-cap in that same way and then preserve bonus, maybe run 2 shotties or something, then you're right back into it. You're literally right back into it because you can score a lot of points. Like, people can score easily 1,300 points on this map in competitive.
Yes, very easily. I mean, if with the tank being this early and out in the open, it's even possible that they could shut down
I've seen it happen.
the spawns and not take a lot of damage. You know, it's definitely possible. And due to this chapter being worth a couple hundred points, 600 to be exact, a lot of bonus to be had, Rails. Like you said, they could put up over 1,000 points and be back into this pretty quickly.
Right, and this tank is very killable because the point is it's going to be just that one hittable, but it's in a very open area, and the point is, are they going to have people actually looking for, 1, the boomer, and 2, the rest of the SI? But the boomer actually takes more priority because if you get double boomed in that area, you typically die. Saw that happen on the last half, right? But the trick about the last half was that one of the other supports went early, and then the tank got the corner, and then the boomer didn't land the boom in enough time for the tank to actually benefit from the horde. He could have, had he turned around, right? Because you mentioned that that one survivor was boomed on the last half. But it was like, it's kind of close, because then he still has to then maybe get 1 more down versus the classic, like, okay, you're going in, your boomer gets a double boom for you, and then you wait for the rest of your support to come in at the same time. That's what usually leads to wipes when you follow that sequence, but it all depends on what's going on, too.
All right, spawns are ready. Let's see what they can do. Spawns that they have are going to be a tri-cap with Spit. The Hunter will not be included. Jockey, Rocket Jock lands. Smoker pull. Charger tries to go solo instead of taking the pull guy there. And I like the attempt to try to land that tri-cap, but sometimes Rails, maybe it's just easier to take that pull guy to guarantee the pull Spit. And I'm pretty sure the coach might point that out to them.
Well, it's very interesting because in vanilla, right, you don't have the infected stacking as much, right? Like you obviously have pull charges for death charges and stuff like that, but you don't have just we're gonna hit this person with spit and 3 different things that pin him in order to make sure we maximize the damage that way. You know what I'm talking about? So like basically here in this version of competitive, because everything is so fast, and because like I said, survivors I think have gotten better in some ways, it's like you have to look at, can you get this damage to be maximized on this one person bit by bit by bit, and just send crushing hits where the charger stumbles somebody or someone gets pounced first. I've even seen like kind of what we saw this game too with the pull pounce spit versus the pull charge spit that was all the rage in 2015, right? So it's like, okay, you know, that's how you get your damage, but people are used to going for multi-caps, and that's why it's like you're either kind of going for a hit where you're stacking damage or you're going for a quad. That seems to be the rotation that I'm looking at on SI more often than not nowadays.
Yeah, it's definitely, since we're longtime watchers of the game, Rails, we see the game evolved over the years, and seeing, just like you said, damage sponges were once a thing.
MK, this is kind of big because this tank's car is out of play.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he punched it over the fence. I don't think he can go under there in this
No, he can't.
regular
He can't.
Parish.
He cannot.
No, so
yeah,
this is the chance we were talking about. They can take
yeah,
this
it's
tank
actually
pretty
been
well.
The thing about it, it's been a long time since I've seen that happen, and the only way to avoid it going back there is to try to whack it right over the bus. Then it's like, oh no, you might take chip, which is true, but it's better than having it in that kind of situation. So he's getting chipped. The tank's in the hands of Devil as well. And yeah, Hunter Jockey, he's going to have to go for an open field 3-cap, I think, MK.
Yeah, there's no choice. It's definitely going to be. It's just the question, is it going to be a smoker or a charger? I did not see the sack order of what came before, as the hunter is giving away his location, lost a little bit of his HP. Let's see what the last spawn is. It's charger. Rails, there is no early pull for them. So the survivors, if they could skeet this hunter and dodge the cappers, this could may well be a no-hitter possibility.
Yeah, no, this is the exact opportunity we were talking about. The tank is going to be committing in, though, on the survivors. They have to watch these early pinners because that's what they're going to be going for. There's Rochelle juking the tank once with a punch landing. Now the charger managing to whiff as the hunter is going to land on coach, but the tank is dead. And it's a one-hitter tank MK. That charger went Fist City for a hot second there, but this is the exact opportunity we were talking about on Survivor side, and now the question is, can they hold this bonus and actually do a huge number here, like a huge number?
Yeah, they can actually, I believe the mathematics, if I add it up, if they could hold on to this, they could take the lead from this, actually, which is kind of crazy, but that is absolutely possible. Let's see what they could do. So it's a tall glass to fill. Spawn's coming up. It's going to be a 2-2. Jockey and the Smoker. This is a poo-2 here, Rails. This is probably one of the worst hits you can get in the game, just calling out the realistic of it.
Indeed it is. The Jockey is going in the back, though, landing onto Rochelle. That's kind of what they needed. The Jockey was low, though, so they do get the clear after just a few ticks of damage. There's a one boom in the back, but the survivors, like I said, they have the momentum now. They really do. Can they hold it is the question.
We'll see if they're going to be able to push through the house. I believe they get this choke point due to the last attack not doing much. Okay, they get through. Now, this is interesting, Rails. This is what I was talking about. Where are they going to hit here? I think they're going to wait up to the other side of the house, because if they hit here early, they're in danger of not having the right kind of spawns they want for the other side of the hole. I wonder if they're going to talk that out, as the survivors are actually just going to slow down and clear out the commons.
I mean, at the bare minimum, they got to land the charge spit here, because like you said, that ladder choke is still so effective. I actually think this ladder choke is less nerfed than the Dark Carney map 2-1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree. Yes, I completely agree with that.
I don't exactly know why that is, but it's interesting, because I think that's how it is, yeah.
It may be just because there's a few more spawns above. I think that's maybe the main reason. But I do like the fact that you can shoot on the ladders, because it's definitely not good if you can't, because you just have the infected just stand there and wait for you. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly right.
No skill, really. Just sit there and wait and then hit the button as they show up. But, all right, here comes the transition. The left one, Survivor in the back. Hunter, Charger, lands. So does the Smoker. Kind of a rolling double cap coming out there. And the damage is
they got a good amount of damage on that.
But do you think they can make the hole? I don't know if they can.
They might push it on this. This is where it's like, okay, coach, and Nick too. Oh, this pull in the back! Not gonna get the kill though. And the smoker is actually dead, so that means that there's no smoker for up top. They could maybe push the choke at this point. This is huge, MK, because if they get past this ladder and the next ladder, it's really hard to get a lot of damage, in my opinion, on them after that. So the entire hit is up. The boomer's going in, not going to land, and they should be saying go-go because they only have to deal with the hunter. Indeed, the boomer dies. The hunter dies. It's just the jockey and the spitter. Come on! And the survivor's going to M2 the jockey. The comeback hype is real, MK!
Oh, they get through, Rails. And not only they get through, all the spawns are down. They should be holding W. Get on top of the bridge. I think they have it. The spitter is not included. There's no reason to slow down unless they're separated. And Rails, I mean, not Rails, but Null has to slow down. And they're going to yield the top of the bridge to the infected, I think. No, one runs up. They're going to take it. Oh, one's hoarded down the bottom.
If they can get out of this, that's the thing. The Charger's right there, landing onto Nick, but they know there's no spitter. The Hunter gets melee skeeted. The pull in the back does land onto Rochelle, but they managed to take the top. They kept their foot on the proverbial gas pedal, and MK, they are still rolling with 600-ish bonus because of finding those kills right there. They still have 620 bonus.
Yeah, and it looks like they're probably 1 or 2 hits away of making it. They push down to the comments kind of quickly. They're getting a little mobbed at the moment, but Spawns can't really capitalize. And this is the second time we saw Laputu on this map. They need to get rid of this quickly. Jockey, Smoker, both land for momentarily damage. Gets cleared up pretty quickly. Spit block is not... They can go around, I think, but they're just going to wait it out. And we should see a quad right at the end here, Rails. Last hit.
Right, so then... They know it's a quad, but the point is if they can even just keep this at like 450 bonus, 450 to 500, just kill the common. Even if you get double capped and clear it pretty fast, that's okay. Just don't get quadded, don't get tri-capped, and then make the safe room. They are going to cut into that delta pretty fiercely, you know, when all things are considered here. And then they have a chance, like I said, next time with an early tank to actually still win the game. So let's see if they can pull that off. It is going to be the quad. Let's see what happens because that smoker spawned in the back. Hunter gets skeeted, Charger goes in, they're going to take the jockey target, but MK, that's all they're really going to get. That's going to be a bit more damage. They're down to 421 bonus, but if they keep that, they are actually in a decent position now.
Yeah, I mean, if they walk in with taking no more damage, their bonus is 420 even. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Woolink is going to be able to get damage onto Rochelle here with whatever spawn he gets. It's the spitter. Can he get in there? No, he can't. It is 420 bonus. And we have a match getting much closer, 2092 to 1407. And are we going chapter 5, Rails?
No.
No, okay. Not for Parish.
But that's what I mean. So we have to take a look at what happens in the next map, because the point is, imagine if it's like a 20-some% tank or even a 30% tank. If the infected team gets a wipe and then makes it with a little bonus, they win the game. I've seen this exact scenario has played out in matches.
Yeah, Null getting quite a 6 skeet there during that quad coming up, Rails. That was a big shutdown by Null here, popping off. One of our co-casters.
Look at that, it's a 20% tank.
Rails, what is this? What are these tanks, Rails?
I mean, this is why Left 4 Dead 2 is the great game that it is. It all comes down to whoever this tank is for the special infected side. If they wipe them, they have a chance to win. If they don't, they don't in a lot of worlds here. And this is why, like I said, the reason that it's cool that they actually got the thing into this position is because now this is actually something they can do. They need a little bit of luck on their side, and they got it. And that's why this is so awesome, because Parish is really, it is a tale of two halves in some ways. It really can be, because I actually really vastly prefer the third and the fourth map. The first map is iffy, because the thing about it is I really prefer a boomer on that first tank on map 1. Map 2, we kind of saw the difference now because the meta's changed a bit with the hittable, which is cool, because you can actually get that in the safe room from where it is, which is fine. But at the same point in time, the second half of this campaign is so balanced because last map has opportunities for survivors and infected. Because like I said, you have the ladder choke, you have the tanks where they are. And then this map is just, can you get the wipe that you need in a situation like this to come back? It's going to be a brutal tank fight, MK, because it is kind of infected side, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's very infected sided, almost guaranteeing a tank an easy corner right away. So it's going to be the survivors on the SI for the commit. Probably a free in cap. Depending on how much damage this does early, survivors being 4 or 5 punches is more crucial right now to this opening attack. Let's see what they can do with it. It's going to be a tri-cap with the boom. They don't have a spitter. The Hunter's pouncing around. Reed is out. And the infected are being a little patient with this. As the boomer relocates to above the survivors. Charger rockets in. What is Ski coming out? Charger gets a 2 damage stumble. That is it. And Rails, if no more damage comes out, they're only going to have 1 survivor, 4 punches. The others are going to be 5. That's big.
No, and the survivors know exactly how important this is. So the whole point is like, okay, #1 rule is what MK in a room tank is don't get multi-punched. If you get multi-punched and 2 people get cornered at the same time, it's a wipe like 99% of the time.
Yes, it absolutely is. And you know what that means? You got to stay in your corner and accept it when you get cornered, not to back into one of your teammates. Sometimes that's the play, and this could come into play here, Rails. Let's talk about this. If you say you get cornered and you're playing a match, you get punched twice. I like to have yourself get out of the corner and then have a survivor body block to allow you to get the pills off to help avoiding a wipe. That's just one of my opinions. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, the body block thing can be good, and then the point is you don't want it to backfire to where you then accidentally both get knocked into the tank punch. That's when things go badly.
Yeah, discipline, like you said. You got to make sure you don't do it. And they're going to retreat
Oh, the survivors,
backwards.
they're
What is
going
this?
backward. Okay, so they're taking it in the room over here. I haven't seen that in a hot second, but the point is the tri-cap stays the same. It's the Jockey, Hunter, and Charger for the inside scenario, and the tank is in. There's the first punch landing. Charger is also in a little early, though, not gonna lie. So the Charger's dead. The tank has the in-cap, but he only has 2 SI now. He's still trying to get another punch, it looks like. He's trying to jump up, and MK, he's dead with 1 in-cap.
Yes, his 2-cap lands. I don't know why the Charger went in so early there, Rails. I don't think he understood. Probably the coach is explaining to him. The tank just couldn't jump on the boxes. I believe that would have been a wipe if he was able to get the corner, but they're going to survive, and now it's looking good for the survivor team that they're going to put up some good points.
So let's explain that. What exactly happened there?
Look, the tank did not make the jump on top of the boxes. 3 failed jumps in a row. Did not make it up to get the survivor that was in the cupboards or on top of
Yeah,
the...
that also that didn't used to be a thing. We do see the SI going in for another hit here, but the reason I bring that up, MK, is because that's one of those things where you have to know, all right, do you have to be on top of the boxes to punch them? Can you get a jump punch from there? You know, do you have to climb on top of something? Is there a ladder you can ladder punch up? Like, this is all the map specific stuff, and honestly, I haven't seen that until now, because most of the time I play this map, almost everybody who I play it with in scrims has played it on, or even in center or Cedar, right? They've played it in the usual spot forward, so I've actually never seen that before.
Reloading.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since like the game first came out when people did that, and I thought it was a bad idea because every team I saw there get wiped. But fortunately for them, it kind of worked out because the tank wasn't able to get the corner. I think if he jumps on that box, that does lead a wipe because the 2-cap landed instantly, Rails, as soon as that tank died.
Oh yeah, it did. I mean, yeah, as soon as the tank died, for sure. But it's one of those things where I think they thought that the tank was going to be able to do that. But that's just one of those things that comes with map knowledge. Like I said, had it been me there, after the first time I couldn't get up there, I may have tried to jump punch him instead. That's the only other thing I can think of. Because I think of the survivors on top there, right? Can you actually get a jump punch on them?
I'm pretty sure you can, because where he was at, it looked like he was far away. So the momentum should have been there. The doubles charge comes out. The spitter misses, though, Rails. Oh, that's big unfortunate.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, Dandy's not having a good round. It's okay, though, because the whole point is, but this is a learning experience. You're supposed to be learning the different parts of the game, you know, when it comes down to it on a config, which is solid, and zone mod is so good because it's been, you know, the community standard for a long ass time. So I give props to Sir for that, of course. But that's, you know, it's part of how it is. Sometimes, that's what back in the day, it's like, even if you have like a no-hitter tank or whatever, you gotta push through it. And I mean, his tank was better than that, obviously. It's just like, you know, there's nothing else you can do about it but control the next hit and then control how you respond to whatever the hell else is happening.
It looks like they're going to slow down a little bit. Interesting they choose to slow with bleeding, but I think they want to try to preserve what bonus they got here with the 2-2 incoming. Fawns look like they want to come from the back with the jockey charge. Looks like he wants to rock it in, maybe grab Greed. I like to see it. Here he comes. Oh, he didn't make it, but he still grabs him in the back. Jockey gets bullied. Spitter didn't spawn in the right location with the charger, and unfortunately no charge spit, but Boomer gets some slaps. Turns out to be a good amount of damage, actually, in the end rails. Not bad.
Indeed, it does. I mean, and the survivors have a decent bit of distance to go. They still have 500 bonus. And yeah, it comes down to those kinds of small things where it's like, okay, you have the hittable, and it was the 2 tanks, because you have the hittable on map 2, and then you have that jump on map 4. If those 2 things go differently, and we've seen it, you know, all the way back to RBT1, right, when it was Velvet Room against Apollyon in their series, right? Like, it's literally a map that's so good because it comes down to one tank or one map decision or something like that that can decide the course of the entire thing. In this game that we saw, it's been 2 of them because it was that dumpster and then also that box on the SI side of things. If those 2 things don't happen, this is pretty much a dead even game in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Or at least a much closer game than it was with the 600 Delta since we started. I definitely agree. But all right, 2-2 in the end. Last chance for damage going to come out. It's going to be a retro attack with the spitter. Smoker gets a pull. Boomer gets a proxy free. Hunter comes in at the end and gets a 1 damage, no 3 damage, and then gets cleared. And that save remade. 504 bonus. 3296 from the Survivor team. Not bad. For Team Knee.
Yeah, no, they did a good job, and like I said, they have managed to play it the way you kind of expect. Aside from this map was the one where it was adventurous, but it was a good call for whoever did that. The only thing I'd be worried about that I would caution, maybe we'll see these survivors try to do it as well, but like you said, it's kind of easy to get trapped in that room. So if they're going to do that, they have to really watch the room 3 cap because the tank can easily get 2 corners there on its own if the survivors don't shoot it right. So if they're all just worried about not getting cornered, not actually shooting the tank's gonna have way too much health and just kill them.
Yeah, the question is which room is the coach going to recommend? The thing is, the room there with the book, with the shelves where they have to jump on top of, it's much smaller than the room that's in the bottom of the pink house going forward. They do have 2 shelving things that they can stand on, of course, but the infected do have the ability to rocket in from the top as well as the bottom with the second house. So I guess it's really preference here, Rails. But if you were going to take it with your team and it came down to winning or losing the game, what do you think you would like to go?
The forward room.
The forward room, the bigger one, right, where you have a little bit more space. Yeah. That's
The
where I
tank
would
gets
say
one
too.
corner, and then as long as you shut down 2 of the SI, you get maybe 2 more punches into down and a half, and that's it.
And a lot less chance for doubles in the bigger room too, of course.
Yeah.
It's always a possibility.
And you're not worried about somebody getting caught up top or some other crazy shit happening. It's just very straightforward, yeah.
All right. For those that were with us this whole time, 40% map 1, 22% map 2, 21% map 3, 20% map 4.
Let's go.
You add that all up, Rails, that barely even hits 100% if you just one number.
No, it's been a bruising game so far. It really has, and I kind of love it because the SI side of things is what it is. And I've always been more of an SI enthusiast, honestly, than Survivor for a number of reasons. You know, in addition to the fact that I can't aim, but like I'm talking about like the SI dynamism is so important, and knowing how it kind of adapts to today's game, you've got okay, tank's gonna be in the room, and that's the thing. When you've played this long enough, it does get like deceptively simplistic. When it's like okay, this area kind of needs a smoker, a jockey, and a hunter, or this area needs the jockey, the charger, and the hunter because it's this, this, and that. I still like boomers. I know it's high risk, high reward, but if you can get like a double boom, right, that just annihilates them, like that to me is still the best feeling. But of course, you get popped. It's like, damn it, there's 1/3 of your SI support dead before the tank even touches anyone.
And they're asking for a finale.
I mean, if they won.
I'll let them know it's up to them.
Yeah, I don't care at all.
There it goes, smoker pull. The clear is a little slow. The Charger Hunter lands. The Charger clear was quick. The Hunter clear
the
is not.
Hunter clear is a little slow. Yeah, Charger dying early was good, but then Coach was too focused on the Horde in front. I think he had to still clear the Hunter back there. I think he thought the Charge Survivor was going to be able to clear it quicker, but he wasn't able to.
All right, Ellis chooses to go grab a Nightstick, which is also the fastest swing in melees for those that want to know. You can swing 3 melee swings in the same time the tank can swing 1 punch. It is the fastest, but here's probably the last tank of the game for In the Mind of. We'll let the last name linger, whatever you want it to be.
In the mind of the ill mind of Scooby-Doo is what his name is.
Snoopy Doo.
Yes. That charge spit also does a decent amount of work on to Ellis there. And yeah, they're going to take it in the regular room, at least for the moment. I agree with this call, and the tank is actually sitting there waiting to intercept them. I'm pretty sure the survivors are aware of that because Ellis, that being Dandy, literally is shooting him, and he can actually get some chip there if the tank decides to stand in that spot. He's already taken like 400, so let's see what happens though, because it's a smoker, boomer, and a hunter. He's actually getting chipped even more MK. that's a lot of damage onto him prior to his commit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's already lost 10% of his health, and they're probably going to blast him a few more. They're going to bank everything on the Boomer, though. This is a big risk here. They're banking on this Boomer being very successful. Tank is it.
Indeed, they are.
Oh,
The tank does
Rails.
get the corner. The Boomer gets the double boom, but the question is, do they have enough time to actually let the Common get in and get the wipe? It looks like they do, because the tank does have the corner under Rochelle, who is the non-boom survivor. There's the smoker pull, too. There's the wipe, it looks like. Actually, you know what? They do get the clear on the smoker. So this is going to be the in cap now. On to Coach, because the Hunter goes for the same survivor, and he's not. Now he's in cap by Common. Oh my goodness, what a chaotic scene, MK, but that is the wipe.
That is it, and the GGs come out, and that will be Team Knee getting the victory over Jaryd. 32-96 to 14-89. GG.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Parish, or like any of the stock campaigns. When it gets down to that level of like, all right, it can be one or two things that happen. Those one or two things are the most important things. You know what I mean? And it's literally a box and a dumpster. That's the story of the game.
A box and a dumpster, it is, right? That is the story of the game. But hopefully the teams had a lot of fun. It was definitely fun to cast this game. Looks like everybody's still remaining in the server. Are they actually going to play it? I don't think so. Oh, they are. Okay.
I actually have to hop, so if you could continue with that.
Of course, no worries, my friend.
All right, cool. Yeah, but no, it's awesome. We're making this a regular thing, and hey, playing map 5, it's not usually played in tournaments, so we'll see how everybody does, and then I'll see you guys next week.
All right, Rails, have a good one, my friend. All right, we'll stick here and see if they want to finish the game. We'll definitely stay and stick it out. They did lose their coach. Looks like their coach isn't going to stay, so now it's just up to the teams. We'll find out. Oh, they're still in there. All right, we're going to go. I take back the GGs that I said before. We'll wait one more. And all right, here we go. Parish finale, a rare sight to be seen. Skill to kill along the way. Second week successful. Here they come. Ski comes out. Charger misses Jockey, and the spit works out. Eventually cleaned up pretty quickly. Not much comes out. And all right, here we go. The ill mind of Scooby-Doo calls the go-go. Jacob calls the go-go. Scooby-Doo sheds a tear.
Let's move.
Now the question is, are we going to see a death charge possibility at the first hole? It's much more difficult as we see railings on both sides. Hunter from the back. Smoker gets the pull. Clear is quick. Hunter does land. Boomer proxy. Scratch. Stuck in the spit. Duvel takes a lot of damage there. And is going to have to pop hills to be fast already. Still committed. Duval's going to be able to regroup with his team. Spawn's coming up very momentarily. Charger. Jockey. Can they get it? Remember, the only way to get the kill is in the middle of the hole this time. There are no railing sides. Except for when you come up. Smoker goes for a pull. Gets cleared. Hunter on the bottom. Charger above. Oh, there it is! And there's the death charge! In the mind of Scooby-Doo, the ill mind of Scooby-Doo is gone. And they are down to 3, so we do get to see a death charge. As they hit the highway off the top level, Smoker gets the pull. The other cappers were not quite ready. It's only going to be the Hunter, to be honest, that was there. Tank should be up momentarily, which is going to be a null tank. Pound spit. Good alley-oop from Dandy.
Watch out for chargers on these ledges.
And here is the last tank of this tournament match for Team Knee. Not Team Knee, I'm sorry. Team Jaryd into the hands of Gnaw. He's bringing the cars in. He is just going to go and try to corner. No, he's not. He's pushing. Almost gets a punch. There's the pole. Oh, no death punch. It was so close, but there's a railing there. No, nice turn punch. Charger lands. Punch goes off there. Another punch. Goes a rock. And Null's tank is gonna die off after one more punch on Duval. Good spread by Null, but unfortunately for the Infected, not able to get the kill onto the Survivor team. And they're gonna be able to keep crawling ever so closer to that 4,000 Delta, which I don't think is any longer in their reach. Boomer should die off, probably the Spitter too. Get a quad to try to finish off the survivors as the rescue vehicle is literally within sight. On the top of the bus, drop down. Hunter's ready to go before they get filed team into the rotation.
Just a little more.
All right, here they go. Charger, Smoker, Hunter lands. The jockey's late. Does cover the Hunter. It's gonna be a lot of damage. Maybe 2 in cap. Nope, just a lot of damage, and they should be able to pop their pills and keep quick. Unfortunately, the jockey was just not quite there. And I don't think there'll be any points. Good block. Smoker, Charger. Nope. And they'll walk in with just change full of points. And good job by Team Knee. Believe they made it every map. Do manage to make every safe room, which is a very impressive feat. And a 5-chapter score of 3,738, almost 3737.
Or they're going to line us up against a wall and shoot us.
Chapter 5. Second half, it's going to be Team Jaryd to go with their infected side. They're just going to clean it up here. I mean, with their survivor side. X-By, Knee, J Money. So that's all of them staying through the match. X-By as well. Yeah. Excuse me. I did not expect us to get a chapter 5 here, but it is a treat to see. Hambone, my man. Good to see you, my friend.
Finally on the bridge.
Those sound like soldiers. Somebody talk to him.
Jockey going for someone in the safe room. Cheeky. Charger finds a target. Hunter finds a target. Spitter finds a target.
Hello?
Didn't even know the Jockey could fit inside of there.
I'll hit it. Get ready.
Like that. You learn something every day. Hopefully you're doing well, Lavbone. Valino, thank you very much for the sub earlier, my friend. I greatly appreciate it. Naimi, thank you very much too. Very grateful, you guys. It means a lot. Alright, the bridge is down.
Right behind you.
Reload. I'm a reload.
Choke point is in sight. The possibility of a death charge coming. They're gonna go for a charger. Oh, Null doesn't allow it to happen. Null's gonna hang a little bit. Nothing else is gonna delay this, so Boomer comes out. Maybe gets a stumble, but no one should hang. And they should be able to continue navigating on the map. Death Jockey area is blocked off, so they don't need to worry about that as well.
Reloading.
Reloading here.
As they come to the next hole where there should be another opportunity for a death charge. They just passed it. Another ski comes out there. Beautiful job. 3 survivors all assisted in on that. As the charger retreats, try to get a death charge possibility. There's the pole. And they will lose a survivor too. Dandy gets separated. A comet goes flying. And it's the ill mind of Scooby-Doo getting redemption. As from Dandy. Dandy killed him. We'll get some action with a death charge. Jockey tries to get some stumbles. Not going to get any success on that. Boomer just goes down. Able to grab a survivor. As a Hunter and Spitter may try to do a pound spit before the final tank comes into play. Now slowing down to clear out some commons before the tank comes up. Survivors are on 72% map progression. Charger rockets in, doesn't land. Hunter rockets in with the high pounce. Doesn't get the high pounce, but does find a target. Smoker pull onto Null. It goes onto the pounce target. While the final tank of the game in the hands of Devol. And it looks like he's going to bring his hatchback into play. I don't believe these hatchbacks are incapable. As he calls out, show yourself. I do believe these two guys are friends. And the tank getting to a safer ground, not to take very much chip, but he's gonna roll in, maybe not. He's gonna throw a rock and retreat. Probably just wait. He's actually being pushed back right now. He wants to wait for that last support. He wants to wait for the ill mind of Scooby-Doo. Here it is. And he is in. Oh, Null gets stuck, but able to get out. Tank is not able to grab him. Oh, it's a 2-cap. Charger not able to land. Charger would miss. Hunter still ripping apart a survivor on the top. Charger gets cleared eventually. Hunter gets cleared. Duval with 3K. Trying to get Null. And he does. But it only does 24 damage. And it looks like that's all he's going to be able to get. Wait, Smoker misses the pole. Tank down to 45 HP. And dies off.
Make it.
Hell yeah, it hurts. Everybody grab a weapon.
Lose you.
Got this.
Boomer, pop. Bit, delayed. Think they can get around it, though, without any worries? Yes, they can.
Yeah, that'll help.
And they can continue momentum. They do have a chance to make the safe room with 3 with a little bit of bonus. They have 2 sets of pills plus damage bonus with a sliver on file team 6. But they have a quad imminent. And 3 survivors shut it down. Here it comes. Charger waiting to pounce. Smoker's in the back. Smoker pull. Charger. And 9-0 is swimming with the fishes. You know what they say? Gnaw, gnaw to the gnaw, gnaw, gnaw. And there's the GGs. And that will be Team Neat getting the victory over Team Jaryd. 3,738. 18